Hello everyone, my name is Claudia Escobedo, Family and Community Partnership Coordinator for the Head Start program. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about effective transitions and how can we do that beginning with the end on mind. To start our presentation, we'll begin with our mission statement. NCCAA works with partners to apply comprehensive strategies to eliminate the causes of poverty for the people of Nueces County. Our objectives for today. Participants will be able to define the transition process, identify the transition continuum at NCCAA, describe the transition services at NCCAA, distinguish the elements that contribute to successful transitions, recognize the benefits for families and children participating in transition activities, and reflect on 3 activities to implement with families to support family engagement in transition. Let today be the start of something new. I like this quote and I like to start with it because when we talk about the beginning of the school year and the transition into the new schools settings, kids are going to be doing things for the first time. For some of them, it's going to be the first time. Of course, the first time in kindergarten, the first time in Head Start. And even for returning school, returning students, they are going to be facing something new. It's going to be the start of something new, right? Even they're going to come back to the Head Start, but we don't know how the guidelines, how the situation is going to be when we come back, how the COVID-19 is going to affect us on the way we do business. So that's going to be new, not only for the children, but also for staff and parents. So with that in mind, I want you to think of something or specific situations when you did something for the first time. I want you to reflect on that. The first time that you did something. The first time that you drove a car. The first time that you apply for a job. The first time that you actually start working. The first time that you jump into swimming pool. As I said, life is full of first times. And when you think about those situations, think about how did you feel? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Were you worried? Was that event something that you chose to do, that you choose to do? You wanted it to do it, or you have no choice? Sometimes the first times in our lives are no choice, right? So keep that in mind as we go through this presentation. We're going to start with the definition of transition. So according to the Webster Dictionary, transition is a passage from one state, stage, subject, or place to another. So it implies a change. It's a movement, a development, or evolution from one form, stage, or style to another. Another definition tells us that it's the verb that implies to make a change from one state, place, or condition to another. So as we can see, transition and change go hand to hand. But what's the difference? Well, change happens to people. Change is that event that happens to you. New job, loss of new job, new school, or life events. Marriage, birth, divorce, illness, funeral, you name it. Okay? Sometimes change is for good, sometimes change is for bad. Sometimes we make the choice, sometimes we have no choice. But Okay, life happens, and that's how it is. So transition, on the other hand, is an internal process. It's what happens inside people's minds when they are presented with change. Remember when I asked you at the beginning about the first time that you did something and how you were feeling? Well, that's part of the transition process. All those feelings that you were having or people have when they face with change: anxiety, happiness, excitement, fear, dread, guilt, denial, depression, hostility. I hope I said it right. Disappointment. I'm not going to try to say that word. Gradual acceptance of moving forward. Those are things that happen in our minds. And sometimes we have all of them. Sometimes we may have a few of them. I remember when I applied for the Family and Community Partnership Coordinator position. I really wanted to make a change. I was ready to move on. Well, not even a month in the position, I started like, what did I do? I had some fear, some denial. So like, what did I get myself into? Other days I was happy, other days I was excited. And even though I knew it was for me, for my to better myself, I still had those feelings. And those are part of the transition process. Everybody goes through somehow that kind of experience when it comes um, to facing a change. And for Head Start, the definition of transition refers to the process of a child moving from one school setting to another. Okay? What are the experiences that the child's gonna have here in the Head Start program? Well, performance standard says that we need to support families and children during this transition process, recognizing families as the first and most influential people in the children's lives on 130250. 130251 tells us that we need to promote parent activities that get parents involved in education of the children. 130270, 71, and 72 talks about the different transition services we need to provide. And 130282 talks about the Spectrum Women Transition Services. The transitions that our children are going to face during their journey in Head Start are from home to early Head Start or Head Start. That means children that have never been in the program before. Either come from home or they come from private childcare. Then we have the transition that goes from the Spectrum Women program to the EHS program. From the Early Head Start program to the Head Start program. And finally, from Head Start to kindergarten. That's the transition continuum that our children experience in the program and the parents as well. And we think of the transition like this: from preschool to kinder. Yes, just go. The child is in preschool one day, goes to kinder one day. The child is in early Head Start, he goes to Head Start. The mom is pregnant, the baby is born, and the child is put into early Head Start. Or the child's never in school, mom has to start working, let's put it in preschool. That's how we see it. But that's not exactly the adequate view. It's not as simple as it looks like. We need to see that all the early experiences that the child has need to be transferred to the kindergarten experiences. Teachers, peers, family, and community all get engaged to help the child in the early childhood centers, in the early childhood setting. Well, the same has to happen. Teachers, peers, family, and community need to continue engage and communicating to support the child needs. For all transitions, no matter what age, we need to consider the following. Parents and children often have a very different response to the same transition. Okay. Depending on what has happened in the past, it's going to be really hard. Okay, for example, for the parents, when it's their first baby, their first child, it's going to be really hard for the child and for the parent as well. As children move on and the second child comes on board, the transition is easier for the child and the parent. I'm going to give you an example. My three daughters have the same kindergarten teacher when it was their time. They are 4 years apart. So when my first daughter was in kindergarten, my middle daughter was 2 years old. So she will come with me to drop off the child, to drop off my daughter. She met the teacher. She will participate and come with me to all the family functions. So the teacher knew her and she got familiar with the school setting. She will visit the school with me. So when it was her time to be in kindergarten, we requested that teacher. And the transition was very seamless for her and for us as parents, even for the teacher, because she knew the family already. Well, at that time, I had my third daughter already, 2 years old as well. And the teacher said, I want to be her kindergarten teacher as well. I want to have the third Escobedo girl. That was even easier, and we were even looking forward. So the response was different at every situation, okay? The family's expectations of care and learning settings may vary, okay? In this situation, we need to consider the family's expectations, but also the teacher's expectations, because when we talk about family engagement in school readiness, we are going to see how the family culture plays a big role when it comes to the expectations of care and learning settings from the parent's perspective. Families' past experiences with transitions may affect the current situation as well, the current transition, okay? If parents have had a bad experience, they are gonna come with some kind of defensive attitude, okay? And the transition is gonna impact children, parents, and professionals. Even teachers get this. As I said before, of course, with my first daughter, the teacher had to work a little bit hard to get it adjusted. With the third one, she knew each other, she knew what it was, the family. So the transition was very simple, but definitely the transition process impacts the professionals as well. Also, we need to think that families' transition experiences may be influenced by their cultures, languages, and backgrounds, which I already explained. The age and level of development influence how a child experiences transition. Of course, a child with a disability may have a harder time transitioning into the setting versus a child that's been exposed to transition activities or doesn't have a disability. And settings may differ and create new demands on the child and family. Just think about how a child that has been in the early Head Start program with 8 kids, 7 classmates, will move into a Head Start classroom with 15 more classmates probably, and sometimes only one teacher. So that's something that is hard. And also for the families. The families are going to have that kind of challenge to face. But we know that it's good that the kids benefit when there is a smooth transition. If we work for them, if we make an effort to assist families in the transition process, where the kids are going to display the following outcomes. They're going to handle frustration better. They're going to display better social skills. They had less behavior problems, and you're going to see less learning problems as well. Kids are going to have a more positive approaches to learning. These have been the outcomes on families that have participated in transition activities. Let's see how educators can support the transition to kindergarten. I'm gonna change the screens. And we're gonna go this way. And if everything goes as planned, we'll be able to see this video.
Head Start educators play a critical role in helping families bridge the transition from Head Start to kindergarten. Head Start educators support successful transitions to kindergarten by using evidence-based transition practices throughout the year. These practices bridge the path from Head Start to kindergarten, creating a smooth transition for families, children, and educators. A successful transition is built on sharing information, building relationships, and program alignment. Educators in Head Start programs share information about the kindergarten transition by preparing children for what to expect, communicating with families in their home languages, and sharing data with families and the receiving elementary school.
Okay, let's have a little bit of a trouble with this video.
Miss Kindergarten. Get ready for kindergarten.
Preparing children for what to expect helps children move from their Head Start program to kindergarten, confident and ready for the transition.
We did some school visits together if they were moving out of the school, and kind of talk about what to expect and also try to provide some resources.
We also put together a kindergarten readiness packet every year because some of the kids don't stay with us through summertime. So we put a big packet that has a lot of fun math activities and math games and even some dry erase little practice sheets for them if they wanted to.
Let's hear about some ways educators might share information with families about the kindergarten transition.
We do like a fun night with the families, and we present the information. We invite people that are experts or they are in the public school to come in and talk about kindergarten, and we try to help the parents and the children to be registered on time and have all the documentation ready for it. So if the parents have any questions or any concern, they might get the answer from the resource.
Sharing data with families and the receiving elementary school can help to sustain the learning gains children have made in their Head Start program.
We do share some assessment data, and for example, we have individual profile.
Some of the data that I'm used to as a kindergarten teacher and as an administrator this year is viewing the teaching strategies goal data. Not only do we get to view their social emotional skills coming in, but also where they are academically. And that's a huge, huge benefit for teachers.
One of the other things we do is have a big transition meeting for students that have an IEP. And so those transition meetings are with the school and then the support staff. So that way when the kiddos come in, there's already a plan in place for them.
Educators in Head Start programs build relationships by getting to know the unique strengths of the families in their program and partnering with the receiving elementary school. Building positive relationships with families and children helps ensure that families are confident and ready to transition from Head Start to kindergarten.
Most of the parents, they probably have a different culture, education background. When I came to this country, everything's new for me. New language, new culture, new education system. My child attended the Nisru Education Center years ago. Because of my own experience, I am more easier to understand the family and then help to build a relationship.
It's a new journey for them, kindergarten, and there's gonna be a lot of feelings about it.
We're also empowering the parents to advocate for their children when they go to public school. And we're introducing them to the community, and I found a lot of my families that were able to actually participate in community activities. So it fosters a lot of successes.
Partnering with receiving elementary schools supports the relationships needed for effective kindergarten transition.
It's critical that you have time to plan and meet and really work together as a team.
Educators can align with the receiving elementary school by participating in joint professional development, partnering around transition activities, and ensuring curriculum and assessments support kindergarten readiness. Let's hear from educators about how Head Start programs and receiving elementary schools might share in joint professional development.
Sometimes we partner with a public school program or an elementary school, partner with the kindergarten teachers, and then to find it out what is the difference kindergarten and preschool. So how can we make that gap more closer?
The purpose of our learning walks today is to go out and observe in actual kindergarten classrooms.
The learning walk is actually helping a lot of our teachers to go and observe what the kindergarten teachers are doing in their classrooms, so we can better prepare our kiddos that are going there to help them. Hey, this is what the kindergarten teachers are going to be doing in their classrooms. It might not be the same as what we are doing here, but it's close to what we are, the schedules that we are doing and the transitions that we do in our preschool classroom.
Partnering around transition activities helps children and families move from their Head Start program to kindergarten, confident and ready for the transition.
We do have a collaboration effort with all of the kindergarten teachers, because we do like a yearly meeting with them. There is a list of things that we're going to be working, that we put together as a group, that they would like us to be working in our classroom with the kids, so when they go to kindergarten, they are ready to go.
Now we're ready to go.
For us as teachers, it's kind of nice to see what the other teachers are, teaching in the classroom, and finding or looking at different strategies that they're using with their kids, so we can incorporate them into our classroom.
In our class, towards the end of the year, we start doing more seat work. It's kindergarten readiness. And it's still fun activities, but it's really getting them used to the idea that there's going to be more time in the seat. Dude, that is a perfect hour if I've ever seen one. Thanks, my friend. We would change, for instance, lunch or snack. Instead of doing it in the classroom, we would move them to the cafeteria with the other kindergartners. Kindergartners come to us and do a story time with us and have them kind of talk to the kids, because honestly, a kindergarten can tell them more than we can about what kindergarten's like.
When Head Start educators ensure a smooth transition to kindergarten, everyone succeeds.
Okay, let's go back to our presentation. All right, so you could see what are the different ways that we can support families in successful transitions to kindergarten, but the same concepts apply to any other transitions. We can have the same kind of communication, information, the same kind of strategies to help the early Head Start parents move into the Head Start program. The expectant women moms putting their babies into the early Head Start program, and those babies or children that come to the Head Start or early Head Start program for the very first time. Okay, change is the only constant in life. Okay, so as we said at the beginning, we are presented with change. That's the way it is. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes by choice, sometimes there is no choice. So I want you to think on all the changes that you are having in your life. How did you go around with it? Okay, so think of a change. Well, I guess we all facing this change right now, the change that this health crisis brought into the world. And it was hard for some of us, right? For some of us, harder than other ones. And think of other life situations and how did you handle them? How was easy to go around some changes? How it was hard to go around other ones? Think about what was the difference between the good outcomes and the not so good outcomes. And think, how do children react to change? How about the parents? How about the teachers? Okay. As we see in the video, how can we create a successful transition? There are 3 elements that we need to consider. information, relationships, and consistency. As I said, the video focuses on Head Start transitions, but all these three elements apply for any kind of transition. When it comes to information, we need to prepare families for the transition process, okay? We are gonna talk to families from the beginning, especially for early Head Start transitions. They happen more frequently than the Head Start transitions. From day one, we're gonna talk to parents about the process, the coming up process. We're gonna share expectations so parents can become familiar with the program processes. Okay, when they come for the first time, we start with a parent orientation. That's part of the transition process. Is the first thing. The parents need to know what's going on in the program, what we expect them to do. And then remember, families are taking in a lot of information and may be overwhelmed. So it's important that we continue with that communication to remind parents about the expectations, about the changes coming, about how the things are affecting the child in the classroom. We need to ask parents about their own expectations and our concerns about themselves and their children. So open communication is crucial, but part of communicating is listening. So we need to listen what parents have to say. During the FCP, you will FCP manual training, you will learn about the transition plan. And that's one of the things we do. And it's important that you look into that transition plan to understand more what parents have to say about the transition process. We'll provide families with information in a variety of ways, in a method that it makes sense for them. They can understand easily. Some parents may speak English, but their home language is Spanish. Well, let's talk to them in Spanish. Share all the potential service options that are available for children. We not only provide education services, we provide health, mental health, and nutrition services. We provide them mainly for the children, but if families need that, we also assist families on getting the services for the family. And for children with identified special needs, encourage families to invite you to their EIP or IFSP meetings. The more you know about the child, the more you know about the parent concerns, the better prepared you will be to assist the children with the transition process. When it comes to relationships, take the time to know your parents and families. Once again, the more you know about them, the better prepared you will be. How can create opportunities for family engagement? Well, meet the teacher day. There's a reason for that. We have open door policies and our open house, and we welcome families to come to meet the classroom, to meet the staff, to tour the classroom, to meet the staff, to tour the facility, and to ask questions and get to know each other. During home visits at parent conference, that's another opportunity to build those relationships, and with all the volunteer opportunities that we have for parents. When it comes to consistency, it's important that we keep stability and consistency between settings. That's crucial to children's school readiness. It's important the continuity of care in the Nueces County Community Action Agency Birth to 5 Head Start program. To the best of our ability, we try to keep our kids with the same teacher for the 3 years in the early Head Start and for 2 years in the Head Start program. We want the routines to be the same at home and at school as much as possible. And our curriculum aligns between settings. Early Head Start and Head Start are both using Frog Street. And we try to align our outcomes to the Texas Kinder guidelines. Also, another thing that is important for children is the familiar faces. Okay, it would be a good practice when if we recommend parents to find out if other kids are going to be going to the same school, right? In early Head Start, when kids move to classroom, we move a couple of kids at a time. That way, they feel that they move on with some familiar faces. And when they visit the classroom, when they visit the new school, if they get to be familiar with the teacher, that makes it a lot easier. Remember my example with the kindergarten teacher? My two younger daughters, they knew the teacher ahead of time, and that made the process a lot easier for them and for us. When we put in place these three elements, our result is a successful adjustment. Remember, for some families take a little bit longer than other ones, but this is the final outcome that we're looking for. So connecting the dots, effective transitions and school readiness. We know the early school years are a critical period for learning and development. Preschool and early experiences enhance school readiness. And how quickly children adjust across settings increases their success. So supporting success across the transition is very important. When kids are adjusted to the transition process, they are ready to learn. Let's see, I'm gonna show you this video about how kids see transitions. Get ready.
It's going to be really fun when you move into kindergarten. I just think ABC. You have to be quiet when the bell rings like circle. When I see other kindergartners, I think about how.
Okay, let's pause it and resume. Internet. Okay, let's refresh the page. Sometimes that helps a little. I thank you for your patience here. Let's see.
It's going to be really fun when you move into kindergarten. I just think ABC. You have to be quiet when the bell rings like circle. When I see other kindergartners, I think about how I used to be in kindergarten. You had to line up from alphabetical order of your first or last name. And I lined up for like recess and lunch and going to the library and TV and music.
Why do you line up?
So I don't get a clock.
I'm waiting until everyone is in a nice straight line in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah. For leaving play court, or leaving school, or arriving, we have to walk in a straight line. Get on the school bus and just drive to school. When I rode the bus for the first time, I felt nervous. Actually, for 3 years of school, I rode with my dad because I forgot about the bus. It has yellow everywhere and it has black windows. It gets from home to here and from here to home. This is my class, but this is the light. If you have a big problem or a small problem, tell someone to help you. You have to bring a backpack and a coat. If you get a sack, pack some of your things in it for show and share. I was wearing first day of school clothes. On my first day, I thought I wouldn't make any friends, and then I did. I was nervous that the other kids would be mean to me. I was scared to have a new teacher. But I was scared. I didn't know where everything was and stuff. My mom helped me find my seat. And I was sad too because my mom was gonna leave. But until I saw my mom in the hallway, she gave me a hug. My teacher said all the parents have to leave. I gave my mom a hug We sing our morning song, and then we go to our journals, and that's what comes in our folders. We listen to the teachers. We read with our friends. We learn math. Sometimes we wrote stories together. We learn the schedule, and we go to gym and do music. But she has I don't know how to snap. Shaking the maracas. We do journal, like they do write it out in your journal. We write how we're feeling, like if we're scared, sad, mad, happy. I forgot what we were talking about. No, when we're feeling safe. You check out books on the day where you have library. I learned how to do better at art. I learned how to draw regular people instead of stick people. We draw pictures in the hallway. We hang it up. The parents come and look at them. I learned how to write my name and last name. How to write apple and flower. The popcorn words are that, was, he, and they. On the popcorn with pop, pop, pop. We go on field trips, but not today. See those pumpkins over there? That one with the pointy stem is mine. We went to the pumpkin patch, and we learned all about pumpkins. That's a picture of it. My favorite thing in kindergarten is lunch. Lunchroom. You need to eat, and that's all. I'm eating. In preschool, you didn't get to pick where you got sit. And in regular school, I got to buy my lunch and pick where I sit. So it can be next to a friend. What do you play with in school? I get to the outside of the toys. Mine is too. At preschool, you got to really play and you didn't have to do anything. And at kindergarten, you kind of have to learn that alphabet and learn how to write and stuff. I like to play with my friends. I like to play inside a classroom. I wish we could play more in kindergarten. Kindergarten's fun. Kindergarten rock. Gaba, gaba. Whoa, we gotta go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Gaba, gaba. Whoa, we gotta go. Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. So this is how kids see kindergarten. Okay. And as you can see, they have a lot of feelings. A lot of feelings about making friends, about saying goodbye to their parents, about missing the bus, about everything. So we need to support and help them participate in transition activities to make this transition a lot easier for them. Okay, let's see. Let's continue here. All right, what are the transition services at NCCAA? Well, starting at enrollment, I mentioned to you, we do parent orientation, so parents are familiar with the process and procedures that we have in place at the program. But we also have a transition in plan. During that transition plan is a form the parents fill out and they tell us about it. What are the children's interests? Is there any concerns that the parents have about their own child? Is there any ways the parent can participate in the program? Is there any way a father can be engaged, the father figure? How can we help them with other areas besides childcare? And also, how can we do to in the classrooms to help them have a smoother transition? So read this plan when you review your children's records. When they are starting in your classroom, look for the transition services. And under family services, look for the transition in plan for children that are returning or third-year students, and in Child Plus for children that are new. This is coming school year, the transition plan is in Child Plus. So during the family and community partnership manual training, we'll show you how to find this transitioning plan in the Child Plus database system. We also have Meet the Teacher Day. And throughout the school year, we have ongoing activities, our open door policy. We can read books to the kids about it. We can recommend books for parents to read at school about going to kindergarten or going to preschool. During home visits and parent conference, we'll be continue communicating with parents so we can ensure that the kids are ready to move, that the children's progress is going towards the next school setting. Continue working on children goals to have them ready, and practicing cafeteria style. That's a practice that we encourage parents. We also encourage them to visit. We do transition meetings. And on those transition meetings, we have the transition out plan. As I mentioned to you, for early Head Start, it's more frequently because 6 months prior to the third birthday, family advocates will start planning those meetings with parents, talking to the parents about the next school setting, the next move of the children. And we encourage them to visit the Head Start classrooms. And for Head Start, they start doing the transition meetings on April. And we encourage them to visit the kindergarten. This year was a different year with all these orders to stay home or close the school, so we haven't been able to meet with parents in person, but family advocates have been calling parents, and over the phone they've been conducting those transition meetings for the Head Start children and also for the kids on early Head Start. And through our Facebook page, every week we post a video or we post information on kinder transition to continue helping the parents and the children to deal with this change that is coming. EHS to HS transitions are based on the child's birthday. Okay, so we conduct them 3 times a year as follows. Children whose birthdays fall between September and December will transition after the winter break. 6 months prior to that, the transition packets are put together. And if there is a spot available, they will move into the early Head Start. If they qualify and there is a spot available, they will move. And if there is no spot available or they don't qualify, they're going to have to leave the program and put in the wait list for those that qualify. So they're going to be moving when they turn 3. But if they don't, let's say a child turns 3 in September and there is a spot that he can move when he turns 3. But if not, he can wait until December. Children whose birthdays fall between January and spring break, they have the opportunity to transition after spring break. If a spot is available before that and they qualify for the Head Start program, they will transition. Children whose birthdays fall after spring break, all the way through August, will transition at the end of the school year. Family leadership and advocacy. There is evidence that transitions are most successful when families are engaged in planning and decision making. So one way that we can see how that works, I'm going to show you another video. Is how families engage in the transition to kindergarten.
I am most definitely excited for my little one to go to kindergarten, and I know she's definitely ready and prepared.
We experience transitions every day. Some transitions are smaller, like moving from one activity to another. Others may be bigger, like changing schools or jobs. Learning to transition from one thing to another is a valuable skill for young children to have and can make a difference in school success.
Good job.
One of the most important transitions is going to kindergarten. Families and Head Start staff play critical roles in the transition to kindergarten.
Okay. Let's give it a bit of time. I have to refresh the page like we did with the previous video. Thank you for putting up with me. Come on. Okay, one more refresh. Okay, what is happening here? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
I'm most definitely excited for my little one to go to kindergarten.
Oh. Doesn't seem to want to go. Okay. It seems that my internet's a little bit slow. Let's try one more time.
I'm most definitely excited for my little one to go to kindergarten.
Oh. Okay, we're gonna put this video on pause for a while, and I'm gonna show you instead another video. That was towards the end, so I'll go back to this video in a little bit. And this is how one of our wonderful teachers, Miss Arispe, has talked to their kids, or what she has done to talk to her kids about going to kindergarten. Let's listen to her.
Hi, boys and girls. My name is Miss A, and I just thought I'd read a story to you guys. Today's title is The Night Before Kindergarten. The author of the story is Natasha Weems, and the illustrator is Julie Durrell. Okay, now let's begin our story. The Night Before Kindergarten. 'Twas the night before kindergarten, and as they prepared, kids were excited and a little bit scared. They tossed and they turned about in their beds, while visions of school supplies danced in their heads. Erasers and crayons and pencils galore were stuffed in their backpacks and set by the door. Outfits were hung in the closets with care, knowing that kindergarten soon would be there. In the morning, it came, school starts today. Would the teacher be nice? Would they still get to play? Faces were washed and teeth were brushed white. Kids posed for pictures with eyes sparkling bright. Parents packed snacks, and kids hopped in cars as they were boarding a spaceship to Mars. Some kids brought blankets or their favorite stuffed bear in hopes they could nap like they did in daycare. Their parents exclaimed, "They're your big kids, wow! Let us hold your bears and blankets for now." Their parents were worried their children would cry if they left them at school with just a goodbye. So they told their darlings, "If you want, we can stay and make sure that everything will be A-okay." The teacher then greeted each one with a smile and invited the students to stay for a while. The room was all filled with toys, books, and maps, but where were the beds for mid-morning naps? They colored and painted and played Simon Says, then tumbled and skipped and stood on their heads. They sang silly songs from beginning to end. Within just a minute, each kid had a friend. The children were happy. They loved Miss Sunrise. It was she who was in for a giant surprise. When what to her wondering eyes should appear, but sad moms and dads who were holding back tears, their noses so sniffly, their eyes red and wet. This was just the saddest goodbye Miss Sunrise had seen yet. She gathered the grown-ups on the magical rug, then sent them away after one final hug. The children all waved from the door to the school. "Don't cry, Mom and Dad. Kindergarten is cool." The end. Now, in the story, the night before kindergarten, the children were excited about going to school, and some were a little bit scared. They didn't know what to expect. But when they got to school, they met new friends and they were happy. They got to play with them. And what happened though at the end to the mom and dads? They were sad. They started crying. Did the children cry? No, they were excited. They thought kindergarten was so what? Was so cool. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you enjoyed kindergarten too. Bye-bye.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
That was a nice story. Thank you, Miss A, and it was wonderful. So this is just an example of what you can do. We'll come back to this video in a little bit. Okay, continue with this. So when successful transitions happen and kids participate in transition activities, what's the outcome? Well, it's a win-win game. Children become more socially ready. It helps them participate more academically. They don't have to worry about who's going to be picking them up, if they're going to have new friends or not, how they're going to find their food in the cafeteria, are they going to be able to carry the tray? If they practice all those skills that we practice ahead of time, they're going to be ready. Families are going to be more connected to school. And that's going to improve long-term student outcomes. When we talk about family engagement and school readiness, we know that when families are connected to schools, kids do better, not only in kindergarten, not only elementary school, but all the way to higher education. And teachers are more prepared to support children and families. Better relationships lead to enhanced child outcomes. When you build those relationships with parents, when parents and teachers are on the same page, there is more communication. Both of you, parents and teachers, are ready to support children's learning. So what are you already doing, or can you start doing in your center or classroom to help children transition successfully? I just show you an idea, right? How you can record yourself reading a book in this time, an activity, but how can you do once in the classrooms for the first day of school as well? Kids are going to coming to pre-K, from early Head Start to Head Start, or from home to preschool, and that's another big transition as well. How can we reassure parents that the kids are going to be doing well? Because in the story we just read, sometimes it's the parents that are having the hardest time, right? Kids are doing well, and parents are living with tears in their eyes. That was me with my first daughter. The second, the third was a lot easier. I knew they were gonna be okay, but even then it's hard. So think of 3 simple activities that you would implement in your classroom. Before I show you let me see what's next. Well, we already showed you Mr. Ispes reading the night before kindergarten. And before we move into this, I'm gonna show you another video that was done for another of our wonderful teachers to assist kids moving into preschool. Our wonderful teacher from navigation.
Story. This is the front cover. This is the...
Okay.
Let's read a story. This is the front cover. This is the back cover. This is the spine that holds the book together. The author writes the story. The illustrator draws the pictures. Preschool, here I come. 2 hugs and a kiss. Preschool, here I come. It's my first ever day. Mommy gives me 2 hugs and a kiss and promises to stay. My teacher takes me by the hand. Come meet everyone. She shows me all around the room. This place sure looks like fun. There are tables for drawing and playing. So I find myself a chair, and that's when I remember I left Mommy sitting there. I check to see if she's all right. I tell her not to cry, but I think it's time to send her home with 2 hugs and a kiss goodbye. Preschool rules. We do not grab, we do not throw. No pulling hair or biting. We do not yell, we do not scream. We don't do kung fu fighting. We use our words, we always share. We never push or run. But my most favorite rule of all is the one that says, have fun. Washing hands. We start each day by washing our hands each day. We wash away the icky germs, the sneezy germs, the sticky germs. So if you are a squirmy germ, I'm happy to explain that we start each day by washing our hands to wash you down the drain. Dino dig. Sand between my fingers, sand between my toes. Digging in the sandbox. What's this? A dino nose? A dino neck? A dino tail? I dig, dig, dig some more. Hey, look what I dug up. A pokey dotty dinosaur. So many paintings. We make so many paintings and everyone wants to see them. So we hang them all around the room. It's like our own museum. Newsflash. I found out our teacher has children. Can you believe that's actually true? Whoever knew that teachers can be mommies and daddies too. Music time. What instrument will you play today? Everyone gets to pick. How about a tambourine? A cowboy with a click-clack stick. Maybe try a cymbal Or better, try out too. You can shake a maraca or toot toot a kazoo. We all play along with a boom bang bang to make our teacher proud. I don't know what song we're playing, but we play it loud, loud, loud. Story time for teddy bears. I took a book down off the shelf since bears like stories too. I read it to them by myself just like our teachers do. The bears don't know that I can't read, it's just I'm really smart. I've heard the book so many times, I know it all by heart. Dressed up, look at me, I'm a firefighting cowboy, wizard, doctor, Viking, dragon, cause I love all of these costumes that are in our dress-up wagon. Parent pickup. When playtime is over, the pickup bell rings. We go to our cubbies and gather our things. Our grown-ups are back because they all miss us. I know it's because of the way that they kiss us. We show them the things that we made. Ta-da! We tell them the things that we learned. Hooray! We all wave bye-bye as we scoot out the door, and tomorrow we'll be back for more. The end.
Good job, Miss Sales. She did this video for her kids, moving from early Head Start to Head Start. All right, let's see if we can see this video before doing our agenda, because this is a really good video from the parent's perspective.
And I know she's definitely ready and prepared.
Okay.
We experienced.
I hope so.
I am most definitely excited for my little one to go to kindergarten, and I know she's definitely ready and prepared.
We experience transitions every day. Some transitions are smaller, like moving from one activity to another. Others may be bigger, like changing schools or jobs. Learning to transition from one thing to another is a valuable skill for young children to have and can make a difference in school success. Good job. One of the most important transitions is going to kindergarten. Families and Head Start staff play critical roles in the transition to kindergarten. Research has shown that when parents are actively involved in their children's transitions, children are happier and more self-confident when they get to kindergarten, and that can help them become better learners. The transition to kindergarten can cause mixed emotions for everyone involved.
I will miss my teacher.
I plan a visit to the Seattle Public School kindergarten, so my former students get to see me at least once in a while, and they will feel like, oh, you haven't forget about me, you're still around.
We might experience joy, confusion, excitement, pride, fear of the unknown, and stress. Families and Head Start staff may share in the excitement of new opportunities and reflect together about the progress the children have made.
Oh no. This is a really good video. And my internet is not helping.
Children may proudly declare,
I'm going to kindergarten. I'm going to kindergarten.
Families may feel sad as they prepare to leave the program staff they have grown to trust and love. They may feel unsure about what to expect with the transition to kindergarten. Some families may wonder how to manage their own work schedule with their child's new one. It may feel unpredictable.
Obviously, I've been through kindergarten, my wife has been through kindergarten, so we, in general, know what it's going to be like, but still that transition from preschool to kindergarten when it's your own child is a bit of a different story.
There was also for us a lot of fear coming from a program where there was a lot of diversity and a lot of kids that looked like my child, to a school where he was the only child of color in his class.
I am nervous about kindergarten because I don't know what that's going to look like.
Parents may wonder about what their role will be in the new school. They may worry about making connections with the staff and other families.
Great, I have to start all over again. I have to meet new therapists, new IEP therapists, kind of build my relationship, my family all over again.
There are effective practices that help to bridge the path from Head Start to kindergarten and can make a difference in how parents, families, and staff feel about the transition. Families and staff can work together to share information, build relationships, and align across settings. Parents can share information about their child's strengths, interests, and goals. This may encourage families to continue to be advocates for their children throughout their education.
So whatever school they go to, I am an advocate for my child. At the beginning of the school year, we met and we talked about his strengths, his weaknesses, and then what I do at home in order to help him. And then we do conferences and the teachers tell me what they're working on, and then I tell them what I'm working on and what I would like my goals are for him.
Families can help plan for kindergarten information events by sharing their interests and concerns.
You guys can write down the question on this paper. We're going to look for the information and then we'll provide it to you in the kindergarten cafe, if not sooner through your teacher. Okay, perfect.
Getting, after school transportation or worrying about before school absolutely played into a lot of the stresses we had going into it. Just understanding, well, what time does the school actually open up? When is drop off? I think after school, present a whole different set of circumstances because you knew there was going to be at least a couple of hours that your child needed to be cared for.
Staff can provide the information and community resources that families want.
El hecho de que el personal que habla español nos hace sentir muy cómodos, como muy, y muy confiados en la información que tenemos también, siempre nos preguntan, ¿quieren la información en español o inglés?
Families and Head Start program staff can build relationships that are respectful, positive, and trusting. These relationships can set the foundation for families to feel comfortable engaging with their child's new school.
I don't know that we had a lot of that feeling of automatic trust going into kindergarten. So that's kind of where we started out the school year. I think we have a lot of trust now with this teacher, and we just the way that she's speaking about him now during conferences, the things that she sees in him are the same things that we see in him. So she sees that, he's sweet and he's enthusiastic and he's very smart, and so she sees our child the way we see our child too.
Head Start programs, receiving elementary schools, and out-of-school time programs can provide joint activities for families and children. These activities can promote positive relationships across settings.
Extra activities after or even before school, I love being able to be involved with those.
In the lunchroom, all the parents come here. The teachers from kindergarten and some principals from elementary school, they come here. They tell parents what needs to be expected and what they're gonna do, how they're gonna learn, and they give the packets to the parents, which school they are going into, so they don't get confused. Oh, where my child is going.
I was very skeptical about going in, but I found to be very effective were actually these kindergarten hangouts. So one of the things that our elementary school did was have different kindergarten events actually at the school, at the playground, which gave the kindergartners the opportunity to play with their own peers, and then for us as parents to be able to socialize with other kindergarten parents and start to build some of those networks. And really seeing how Samuel took to those experiences and not only meeting with his other kids, but gaining the familiarity and the comfortability of being in his own school, playing on his own playground, really helped him feel more comfortable and know that.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I guess we're gonna leave this video right now. You have an idea already of what it is to how parents feel and the importance of supporting them from the beginning, engaging them in the process. So let's review our agenda. Number 1, change happens to people. Transition is the internal process. True. NCCAA has 4 types of transitions: home to early Head Start to Head Start, Expectant Women Program to early Head Start to Head Start, and Head Start to kindergarten. True. Early Head Start to Head Start transitions are based on the child's birthday, and the transition meeting is conducted at least 6 months prior to the child's 3rd birthday. Correct, true. Information, relationship, and consistency or alignment are the elements that contribute to successful transitions. True. Some benefits for families and children participating in the transition activities are, remember, better frustration tolerance, better academic skills, better approaches to learning, less behavior concerns. And number 6, I want you to list 3 activities that you will implement at your center or classroom to support family engagement in transitions. All right, if you have any questions, you can feel free to let your manager know. Managers will email us questions to coordinators so we can answer. And also, anytime you need to reach out, just feel free to contact me, Claudia Escobedo at @nccaatx.org. All right, thank you so much everyone for listening. I hope you have a blessed day. Stay safe and take care.